as a bay. Beautiful people, you're welcome on Freedom Square News. And today we have a special guest, a doctor, the excellent, and a man who have traveled around the world. And it is an honor to borrow a leaf of knowledge from him. Doc, you're welcome to Freedom Square News.
Thank you very much.
For the pleasure of our listener, please can you introduce yourself?
I'm Dr. Michel Ugwueze, an associate professor in the Department of Political Science, University of Nigeria, Nsukka. I research in the areas of security, peace, and conflict studies. And as an expert in international relations, we also continue to profile solutions to both global and local problems. Thank you.
Thank you, Doc, for giving us this opportunity.
You're welcome.
All right, we play on the screen.
This is happening live in issues of local government. Eha-Amufu parts, we are going hungry. They are sleeping with our women. After sleeping with them, they will use stick under their VG, which is very bad. Government of Enugu State. They are crying. Government of Enugu State.
Our people, our women, our mothers, our sisters in Eha-Amufu issues of local government area of Enugu State, they are crying for help, and you saw their complaints, what they are passing through. So as an expert, what is your take on what is happening?
It's a pity what is happening at Isuzo, which is not different from what is happening in many other parts of Nigeria and even Enugu State. It's just that that of Isuzo has become so frequent with several narratives attached to it, which appear to be greatly undermining the necessary solutions to the problems. But what I may say generally is that there are several ungoverned spaces in Nigeria. And as a result of the problem of ungoverned spaces, criminals leverage the opportunity to unleash mayhem on members of the local communities, particularly those living in such volatile areas. Eha-Amufu in Isuzo local government unfortunately happens to be one of those places where criminals have leveraged less presence of the state to unleash mayhem on the people. What you also find that the greater part of Eha-Amufu that is complaining of this problem happen to be those living at the border towns with Benue State. And Benue, like we know, has been for years engulfed by this same problem of farmers, herders crisis that continues to ravage the Benue communities. So Eha-Amufu happens to be a community in Enugu State that is having a fair share of it. And then several other parts of Enugu State as well are also affected by that. That's what I would say. And I can say that they are happening because of the less presence of state forces and the peculiar nature of Nigeria's security architecture, which largely denies the people the ability to be properly secured, and yet call for self-help. It's not always taken so easy with the people when security issues are being discussed.
All right, listener out there, may I remind you that your comment, your contribution is very important. And also you can share so that it will get to the appropriate quarters for urgent response and interventions. Doc, as an expert in security matters and as a political scientist, What are the dynamics, divergent views that may be limiting the response that these people should get?
In fact, I will be specific to Nigeria, not just the global community, because our own presents unique situation. What largely happens in Nigeria is that sometimes the way and the manner we perceive those in government and those outside government, the rulers and the ruled. In several situations, genuine cases are presented as though they are products of opposition challenging the sitting government. What you find in Nigeria is a situation where it becomes even difficult to convince the government that what is happening is indeed a reflection of the reality on ground. Otherwise, those who lead continue to see the situation as a product of opposition making designed to undermine their government. It's not just in Enugu, it's something that is unique with Nigeria. If you can watch very well, right from the time of Boko Haram crisis up to the period that farmers-herders conflicts continued or started ravaging Nigeria, you find a situation where reports are downplayed as mere making of those in opposition. And as a result, you don't find that timely intervention that will help to nip the problem in the bud or address them at a time when they are still rearing their ugly heads. You tend to see government intervene when the problem is almost going out of control. And as a result, both the resources that will be deployed in managing the restoration and then the consequences, adverse consequences, the havocs already wreaked would have been so threatening. And that is what you'll find across the country. At the end, you begin to budget more to settle a problem that maybe little resources, timely intervention could have nipped in the bud. Not until the state and all of us generally begin to look at the problem as our problem and then start to also look at the solution as our solution, it may be very difficult to address. But much as the people sometimes helpless, like the video we've watched from Eha-Amufu and the rest of them, when they feel so helpless, then the best you can see them do is the kind of protest that they have done. Regrettably, in many situations, when such protests take place, you also find those in authority, those who are supposed to pass the information from one level or the other so that it gets to the right person that will make the right decision that will nip the problem, we will begin to present it. Yes, we don't want this thing to be coming from our place because of how it will be interpreted. It will be seen that our people are challenging the authority of so and so person. Therefore, even if it is possible for them to even downplay it, they will do it so that they appear good before their benefactors. But the reality is that the problem largely happens because of miscommunication and the way the society largely operates. It undermines the process.
All right, thank you, Doc. So far, so good. Don't forget you're still on Freedom Square News, and I'm with Dr. Ugwueze. Remember, your comments, your contributions in terms of suggestions is very important, and do well to share so that it will get to appropriate quarters. All right, Doc, with all you have said, what is the possible solution to the problem?
You know, central to security provisioning is what we call intelligence. Intelligence is very central for anybody or any society to provide adequate security for itself. The reason being is it doesn't even have to do with the volume of weapon at your disposal. but has to do with the volume of information that you are working with. If you cannot track movement of criminals, the implication is that even with your sophisticated weapon, you can be dealt with. But if you can track movement of criminals, then it makes security provisioning very effective. Now, I said intelligence because it's a bifurcated thing. There's a symbiotic relationship. Whereas it flows from the people, then the end point must also act in timely manner, critically shielding the identity of the informants as well, so that you are not jeopardizing the security and safety of the individual or individuals providing the information. I said this because in several societies and ours, for instance, where there is less technological development, you leverage more the information coming from the people to act timely. And what it means is that the people must also be timely in giving information, and then the end point of the information, those in charge, those whose responsibility it is to act on the information, must also act timely, so that all this will be boiling down to what we call addressing the problem in the is inchoate stage. So that, for instance, we need to be looking out to the early signals. The early signals are important. In our own society, like I said, where there is less technological advancement, you find that the people usually, every community knows themselves. And because they know themselves, I remember how it used to happen in the past. When you see a society where people stay very close to themselves, know themselves, it will be very easy to identify a stranger. And once you can identify a stranger, people begin to ask questions. Excuse, we have seen this person one or twice. Please, where are you staying? Whose house are you in? So that they know if something happens, these are the people who are the first suspect. And then they will have the right persons to ask questions. This person was in your house. As this person was in your house, please, can you provide information? This happened. It has not been happening before. And because it has not been happening before, the first suspect is this person who was in your house. But this time around, you'll find it doesn't happen any longer. We don't have technology to monitor movement, and the people are also no longer conscious of their own security situation. Therefore, nobody is asking questions again. Even where we live, you may live in your own house, so you don't even know what is happening in the other person's own apartment. Both of you might be living in the same house. For instance, you are in this flat, the other one is in the other flat. His flat can be used for very heinous crimes, and the other one may not even know and does not care to know. So before now, people know themselves and people ask questions. But now we have adopted Western style of living, yet we fail to adopt its corresponding security gadget used in monitoring the lacuna that is now missing in our hitherto communal lifestyle. Therefore, to address this problem, the people must be ready to provide intelligence to the appropriate quarters, and the appropriate quarters must also be willing to act fast on the intelligence provided. It boils down to also having chains of command in this situation. If it is the police, for instance, that is in charge of providing internal security because they are the lead agencies, and we know that the police cannot be found everywhere. The next thing which we have seen in many communities with regard to what we call community policing is that there should be a synergy between these community policing agents with the state security forces, and it should flow in a manner that the people already know the direct link, know whom to report to, and the issue will be taken up and timely addressed. All these things we need to establish instead of having a terribly centralizing security system that denies the people the necessary quarters to table their complaints.
All right, thank you, Doc. People, remember it is on Freedom Square News, and we will continue to discuss, to share ideas, to see that our society gets better. On that note, don't forget to drop your comments, your contributions, and so on. And you can also do well to share. Doc, please, your final words and also your heartfelt sympathy to our people.
To the people of Eha-Amufu.
Yes.
Number one is that you are the number one security officer of yourself. Before any other person can secure you, you need to first of all secure yourself. Therefore, security is everybody's responsibility. Let us not see it as exclusive responsibility of some other persons. Yes, there are people imbued with the responsibility to provide security to all of us, but you also assist those people by providing relevant information. Provision of relevant information is a critical step in security provisioning. Therefore, that's why I said that we are all security providers of ourselves first before any other external actor can help you. The people of Eha-Amufu, it's a pity what is happening, but we know that it cannot continue to happen forever. One day the state will come alive. And what we have done is good, creating awareness of what is happening within the community, so that even if you had reported it in the past and the report is not being taken to the right quarters, bringing it up to the fora will help in escalating the situation for anybody that should act to act appropriately. It's a pity it is happening, and we should all continue to condemn what is happening and continue to make effort to providing security for ourselves. Thank you.
All right, my people, don't forget it's Azibi of Freedom Square News, and we just heard from Dr. Ugwueze, an associate professor in political science department in the University of Nigeria, Nsukka. Thank you for watching. Thank you for your comments. We expect more as we tally. Till we meet again, we say bye for now. We love you.
Freedom Square.